So is it a crisis? We're hearing from locals, you might have just heard some of an interview we did last hour, locals there tearing their hair out. They're saying this is a crisis and intervention is needed.
There's a drawcard to Alice Springs, and that's what I think we need to get to the table to understand. I welcome the visit of the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister on the ground. I understand they're going to be engaging with a lot of people. We've certainly provided briefs as to our observations through our actions on Friday. On takeaway licence and on-premises venue was suspended, and there was another venue with a bottle shop that was closed on Saturday. That had immediate reduction of nearly 50% of demand on police resourcing. What we've got to try and get to the front of this is what is the drawcard of why so many people are descending upon Alice Springs to drink alcohol to the levels that are causing harm, which is then contributing further to the youth issues that we're dealing with at night.
There are calls from the Mayor and others of the AFP to head in to back up your team. Is that necessary?
I think there could be a lot more resources on the ground looking at the therapeutic issues that are on the ground and a lot of front-end support and working with the not-for-profits to make sure that they're able to get the true traction that we need to try and turn the tide of this. I can't literally arrest more people with the resources that we have. We've already filled the jails. We're hosting remand prisoners in our police watch houses, so we're picking up that load as well. A surge of additional law enforcement is not really going to treat the problem. What we've got to understand is what is the causation and how do we get some level-headed, considered approaches to that. I think there's a myriad of things we can do with the involvement of both the Commonwealth Government and the Northern Territory Government to put some prompts in place that will have some short-term impacts, but we've certainly got to work back to what is the genuine medium and long-term plan to turn this around, because it's not exclusive to Alice Springs. We're seeing it in other major centres in the Northern Territory, and we also know that there's issues in towns like Townsville and through the Kimberley who are experiencing similar types of pressures.
Last July, the Stronger Futures legislation ended. We saw the return of alcohol to many of those Indigenous communities. What impact did that have in Alice Springs? Would you like to see that policy reversed?
The Stronger Futures legislation actually impacted more of Alice Springs town camps. They were alcohol protected areas. A number of our remote communities didn't fall under that. They're still covered under the Northern Territory Liquor Act. But what it's certainly seen is people who have been coming into the town camps and a number of our public housing environments. We're seeing lots of overcrowding there. We're working with the other agencies with responsibility for those areas to try and deal with it. But as you've heard, and as I heard last week, the Alice Springs residents and the town camp residents feel almost helpless in respect of the number of visitors they've got coming through.
What about the increase in the Covid19 payments and access to superannuation? Is that one of those causations that you were referring to earlier as well?
Yes, I'd spoken to Matt about that a couple of years ago. We certainly saw an increase in activity when the double payments were there, and unfortunately saw a transition from beer and wine to more heavy spirits, including rum. And then we saw harm increase as a result of that. Now with the double payments having dissipated quite considerably, our property crime has also unfortunately started to rise, because as people are running out of money, the break-ins are still occurring, and we're seeing the commodity of alcohol and food being one of the primary sources that people are trying to seek when they're doing those property crimes.
How big a spike in domestic violence are you seeing?
Certainly we've been conscious of the Stronger Futures and whether that was going to have an impact. The anniversary of the 6 months occurred last Monday, and my team have been reviewing the data that we've been able to hold so far, noting that some of it's got to still settle, but we've certainly seen an increase in alcohol-related harm as a result, and that's seen an increase in our family domestic violence matters as well. So that's obviously something that we're making sure the Chief Minister is aware of, and we've provided briefs to that effect, and we'll continue to do so.
Commissioner, this is all very difficult for your teams on the front line, on the ground there. What is morale like among the force?
As I say, I was down there last Thursday, Friday, flew back Saturday morning. I couldn't be more proud of the efforts of the Northern Territory Police, the Alice Springs frontline in Alice Springs, the additional police that we've pulled from across the whole of the Northern Territory, putting their hand up over the Christmas New Year period to get down there. The additional police we continue to put in to support our Joint Emergency Services Communications Centre, the support we provide to support corrections while they're dealing with their current industrial pressures. My people are doing some exceptional heavy lifting, and it's a credit to them. They're turning up each and every day, and their morale is to be commended for the efforts that they're undertaking.
Just finally, Commissioner, with the Prime Minister on the ground there today, what do you want him to see? What do you want the big takeaway to be out of this today, with the whole nation with their eyes on Alice Springs today? What would the big takeout for you be? What would you like to have? What's on the top of your wish list?
Well, Alice Springs is certainly prominent, but we certainly can't be blind to the fact that we have significant issues in a number of our major centres that are fairly similar. We are seeing poverty. We are seeing an almost unquenchable thirst for access to alcohol. And again, we're seeing the displacement of youth that are then leading to significant youth crime and more brazen activity. And again, I hasten to add, it's not exclusive to the Northern Territory. We're seeing that in parts of Queensland, we're seeing it in parts of Western Australia. We have residents from South Australia here who are using Alice Springs currently and contributing to part of the problem. So the takeaway that I want to see is that the Australian government hold a significant number of levers. We really want to get everyone to the table. No knee-jerk reactions, no politics. I agree with the calls for bipartisan support. There are some root cause issues here that are leading people to drink alcohol to excessive amounts, and that is being pervasive across so many of our crime types. If we can do something to address that in a short, medium term, we would be very grateful. I know the residents of Alice Springs and broader residents of the Northern Territory would appreciate that as well.
Northern Territory Police Commissioner Jamie Chalker, we really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us and speak with our viewers today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.